You ever see the trailer of a film and you think to yourself, this looks like a huge bomb? I had thoughts like that, seeing the trailers to things such as Jupiter Ascending or Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. How I usually identify this is by a few factors, namely the large amounts of special effects work, how generic and uninspired the plot from the trailer looks, the fact that they cast actors you wouldn't expect to star in a movie like this. Like seriously, who would cast Dane DeHaan as your dashing young hero? And last but not least, how desperate the advertisers are to remind you that it's from the creators behind the thing you like. What I'm reviewing here today has all of those qualities put together, but especially the latter, to the point where there are ads that feature the producer trying to sell the premise of their movie to you.
Mortal Engines depicts our future in a way that's never been seen before.
Mortal Engines is a movie I spent $100 million on. There's nothing that unique or engaging about it, but please see it. I didn't direct it, but a buddy of mine did. I produced it, and wrote it. Remember Lord of the Rings, and to a lesser extent The Hobbit. Please see it. It has big stars in it, such as Hugo Weaving and Stephen Lang from Avatar. See him. See it. Please. Mortal Engines is set in the world of moving cities, where a girl wants revenge on a powerful figure for killing her mother a long time ago. Her plan fails when Guy accidentally interferes and gets them both on a quest to get back on top of London and stop the evil plan. It's apparently based on some books that I've never read or heard of, but Peter Jackson must have, because he's been holding on to the rights for almost a decade. Nice to see it paid off. The funny thing is, I didn't actually buy tickets to see this. I didn't sneak in or bootleg it, but I was at the record store one day and I came across a huge pile of these free advance tickets for this movie that I guess are meant to be sent to people by mail, but the store owner said I could just take one. So I got to see it 2 days before it opens in a theater more full of people than it will ever be. When the movie ended, there was some silence. Then I heard some people clap, though it's more of a sad pity clap. And then I heard several other people boo. I joined in on them. Peter Jackson's Mortal Engines is a joyless experience in the most joyful time of the year. It had some of the worst character writing I've ever seen. Every time someone opens their mouths, I wanted them to shut back up. Every line they say is some cliched, trite stock phrase.
This is for my mother.
And one for your mother, and one for the Pope, and one for little Johnny, and one for Bobo the Space Monkey, and one 'cause you're fugly.
The one actor who could almost make it work is Hugo Weaving solely because he's Hugo Weaving, but that doesn't make the lines he says any less garbage. No good actor can sell these. Not even Stephen Lang, who plays a fucking robot. I'll get into that a little later. For the first big film of these new stars, they really don't seem promising in the slightest. They're supposed to be kinda romantic leads, but they share the barest minimum of chemistry or even acquaintancy. The lady playing the bounty hunter isn't even an actress. She's like a singer who's popular in South Korea. She may be the worst out of the three of them. Then again, we do live in an age where anyone can star in a $100 million movie. The main girl is supposed to be super scarred from getting knifed on as a child. And while her face does definitely look nicked, one of the few things I did learn about the source material is that her face is supposed to be super messed up with an eyeball and nose missing. But of course, this is Hollywood. You gotta have your lead actors look not too asymmetrical. Kinda like in Ready Player One, where that one character has a birthmark she felt was a facial deformity. Like, ugh, god, look at how hideous she is, ew. I've barely mentioned what this movie's even about, and truth be told, I kinda don't know. It's set 100 years after this 60-second war, 60-minute war. They do things with the Universal logo to show parts of it being blown up. But even with that expository narration, I still don't understand jack shit about how we got here. All the cities in the world are on top of giant wheel machines. It's basically Howl's Moving City. But why? How did they come up with the conclusion of building their whole cities onto giant wheels? It's established that they try to avoid getting eaten up by bigger cities as kind of a survival of the fittest. What would happen if they did get eaten? Do they just become property to that city? Is this all a weirdly elaborate game of Pac-Man? So in this world, modern technology that we take for granted, such as computers and toasters, are treated as relics to be shown in a museum. There is this very bizarre joke in which the caretakers of the museum feel a sudden shake in their environment, and one of them yells to the others to protect their American deities. And the camera pans over to these statues of the minions. It stuck out to me because, first off, it had to have been some kind of a studio note, but also the way it was presented with the camera pan and everything made it feel like a Zucker Brothers gag, and there's no joke, not just one like that, but one period in the rest of the movie. Anything else pertaining to the story involves just stuff happening, such as leads get thrown out of their city by Weaving. They briefly get abducted by this weird old British couple. They're almost sold for slavery before they get bought out by Bounty Hunter, who was friends with the main girl's mother at some point. Don't know when. And like, they have to go back to London so they could put a goober into a machine to stop it from blowing up their city. Also, there's this dumb subplot where Weaving's daughter thinks her dad might be up to something, and it's obvious to everyone else, including the audience, that he is, and we're just waiting for her to find out. Oh, and main girl was raised by robot Stephen Lang, who acted as a surrogate father to her, but he was apparently a real person at some point in the past. But also robots are evil and locked into cage things, and Hugo Weaving forces him to go out to kill the main girl. And how that plotline was brought up and unceremoniously put down, I guess it felt kind of pointless to me. Or maybe that was just me checking out as I was watching this, which I did quite often. Maybe if I were to see it again, it would all make perfect sense, but there are no characters or good lines of dialogue worth coming back to. I guess I'll give some props to the production design for the most part. I like the look of the cities on wheels. My favorite set piece was actually the giant track marks left on the ground. That looked pretty cool to me. But aside from that, it falls into the same problems I had with the Hobbit movies, in that it just divulges into CG shit on screen, like you're watching someone else play a video game you have no emotional attachment to. I wonder what happened to Peter Jackson's writing and storytelling capabilities. Were they sucked out by the Lovely Bones? Was he seduced by the dark forces of CGI? You know what I really wish he'd do is more of his earlier work, the weird low-budget gross out violent films from Yonder Jackson. He's apparently re-releasing them on Blu-ray with 4K motion smoothing?
Filmmakers are working with manufacturers to change the way video interpolation is activated on your television.
I don't know, I'm afraid Jackson's just turned into a new Lucas. How else would you explain his recent output? In short, unless you're maybe a fan of the books, don't bother with this movie. I saw it for free and I feel weirdly ripped off. Jupiter and Valerian were both bad too, but they were also so weird and batshit and funny that they kept my attention.
I have more in common with a dog than I have with you.
I love dogs. I've always loved dogs.
This was boring as hell. Go see Spider-Man, or stay at home and watch Roma. And I'll be hoping PJ can get his act together soon, cause his current path ain't looking so good for him. 2 out of 10. And join me this February as I tackle the next possible bomb, Alita Battle Angel, that was supposed to come out this season before probably wisely rescheduling. God, those eyes.